Welcome back to episode 150 of Tall Boy Radio. We're firing on in there with some festive episodes as we get closer and closer to Christmas. So we're going to be bringing you some Christmas cheer. Or are we? I don't know. But nonetheless, thank you very much wherever you're listening from, especially if it's country number 52, El Salvador. Happy days. Thank you, boys or girls, whoever's listening out there. We appreciate it. Anyway, on with the show. Let's find out what the guys who are on today are drinking. Gaza?
Evening, guys. Evening, the world. Evening, all of the 50-plus countries that we are listened in. This evening, I am drinking Le Chou. Can you just see that? There we go. 8%. Love this beer, actually. Got a real fad on it at the moment, so can't drink too many of them, being 8%. And out of Genuine Black TBR podcast merchandise, possibly relatively original merchandise as well. It's quite old, that glass now, but yeah, looking forward to this, and we'll see where we go.
Indeed. Yeah, that is the first glass we had to go at making, and arguably the best one. I'd say.
The best, yeah.
Yeah, I think it is. And Dave is back with us again this week, dude. How's it going?
Yeah, good. Thanks. Just dashed in straight from the football coaching. So a bit knackered, but there we go. I've got an early start in the morning, so I have got another alcohol-free beer, but I'm not going completely alcohol-free. I've got a Harper's Golden Ale. It's just a 4.5%. It's just nice, refreshing drop there. But yeah, so taking it easy.
Very good, very good, very good. Did you drink the year out of date one that we had last week? Did you drink that one?
No, I tipped it down the sink.
Sensible. That's why he's back with us this week, folks.
Yeah, that's why he's not in A&E or hospital. Yeah.
So I'll tell you what beer I'm drinking. It is the 191st different beer I've ever had on the podcast, and it is Goose Island's Goose on the Loose Indian Pale Lager, and it's one that they've done in conjunction with Aldi. What about that? An American company based in Chicago doing a collaboration beer with a German supermarket. It's not very good, if I'm really honest.
I was just about to say, who'd have thought it? But then, yeah, maybe so if it's crap. So
yeah, it is. It's just a basic lager. I enjoy
Goose Island IPA though. That's quite nice. That is, it's decent. That beer.
Yeah. So's their Midway version as well. They do a couple of decent beers as well. Don't forget, also they make Bourbon County, which I still haven't managed to get my hands on. And that is another cracking beer by all accounts. And this, I think it's more Aldi than Goose.
So what is a pale lager as opposed to a pale ale?
It's an Indian pale lager, so it's a hopped lager. So yeah, so it's a lager with hops in it. Personally, just make an IPA. Don't piddle around with lagers. It just tastes like a lager. It isn't great. But folks, it's cheap. I think it was like
it's Aldi cheap.
It's Aldi cheap. It's like 99p a can or something like that. So this week, I know, very happy days. So this week, as I said, have we got a festive episode for you? I don't know. No, we haven't. No, we're going to be talking about prisoners' last meals, and we're going to be rating those out of 10. So we're going to look at some very famous prisoners, some not so famous, but they did have an unusual last meal, which is why I've picked them out to share. These guys don't know what's coming at them. They don't know which meals we're going to be chucking at them, what we're going to be serving out to them on a platter, as you will, and we're going to be rating them out of 10. So, without further ado, shall we get started? You ready for this?
Oh, yeah. Get started. Yeah, okay, go on.
That's a theory.
I like what you did there. I tell you what, any more of those, you'll get your just desserts.
These jokes are going down a treat.
It's Christmas, lads. We've got the crackers out. Oh, no, I nearly did the drums again. So the first one, then, probably should temper it down a little bit now. I was going to talk about John Wayne Gacy, the killer clown.
I was going to say, we've been all laughy, joke at the start. Yeah, we're going to talk about multiple murderers now. Yeah,
that's it, yeah.
Nice one.
Get your party hats out. We're going to talk about someone who murdered and raped 33 people.
So these are all death row final meals, are they?
Most of them. You discovered my secret plan quite early doors. Yeah, there are a few that aren't. There were a few last meals that people didn't know that they were their last meals when they ate. So they're even more cheery than the ones when men were put to death for crimes.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So the first one, then, John Wayne Gacy murdered, like I said, 33 people and raped a hell of a lot more, countless countless rapes, in fact, of various men who he had drugged. So his last meal, let's not focus too much on his crimes. Let's focus on his choice of cuisine. So he ordered and was served 12 fried shrimp, a bucket of original recipe KFC, French fries, and a pound of strawberries.
Okay.
How are we rating that one? This is your last meal. Think about this. This is the last thing you are ever going to eat. The last thing that's ever going to pass your lips, that your tongue is ever going to taste. Is that the choice?
Then?
What
do you say?
Strawberries is, I think, a good choice.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Right. It wouldn't be my final meal, but what was the starter at? Sorry.
So he ordered 12 fried shrimp. I'm on board with that. In this country, we call them prawns, Dave. Just to be clear, so in case you're not sure what a shrimp is. A bucket of original. I can't say the word original. This is my first beer. I'm in trouble because I've got some really strong ones.
Original recipe.
Episode. Thank you. Original recipe KFC. I don't know what original recipe KFC is. I presume it's not the spicy version.
No.
Some French fries and a pound of strawberries. Out of 10, how are you ranking that as a last meal? Do you think he could have
gone a bit more upmarket than that, couldn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's banking on it taking a while to eat him. Bless him. There's a fair bit there.
Well, with KFC, he's probably hoping that'll kill him off before the time. To be honest, I mean,
the bucket of grease that he's going to sit down his throat from the chicken. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Other fast food restaurants are available, and there is no evidence that they're killing people unless you link it with childhood obesity. And there's some pretty solid evidence.
I think we're pretty safe to do that, to be fair. We haven't got a benchmark to go on, have we? So
we do, because this is the first one. So this is our benchmark. So we can keep it in mind. I don't think we need to worry about offending the man and his choice of food, because when he hopefully will be up there. I'm hoping he won't be up there when we get there.
Yeah, I'm going a solid 3 out of 10 or something like that. You know what I mean? You could definitely do better.
You can do better. Yeah, you can do better.
I'll go with 3 purely because if I go 1, I've got nowhere to go if there's something even worse.
Yeah. And I'm sure there will be some that are worse.
Yeah. Well, Hannibal Lecter.
Hannibal Lecter was fictional.
I know, but there's bound to be a cannibal in your list. He ate somebody and then died, and that was the last thing he ate.
Ooh. He's got all Jeffrey Dahmer on us.
He has.
But yeah, 3 from me.
Okie dokie. So the next one, Timothy McVeigh. You familiar with Timothy McVeigh?
Sounds like an actor.
He's not, no. He was inspired, and I believe, by the guys in Waco, Texas, and he committed the Oklahoma City bombing, which he blew up a government building, which did a devastating amount of damage to an awful lot of people and their lives. And to be fair, if you go on, check out Outcast Media Group Oklahoma, which our friends Tiddy and Shiner run, they have taken some absolutely fantastic photographs of the memorial building in Oklahoma City. Okay. Honestly, it is spectacular.
Is that the fertilizer bomb?
Yes. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, so what did we rate the last guy at? Was it a 3?
3.
Oh, let's see if it's higher or lower then for this fella. He ordered 2 pints of chocolate chip ice cream, and that was it.
Well, I
don't mind chocolate chip ice cream. But...
No, I don't mind it, but I think 2 pints is a bit extreme.
You kind of get a bit sick of it after, a good bowl full. You've kind of had enough.
And then factor in the ice cream headaches. Oof.
He hasn't got to worry about them for too long, though, has he?
No, what he's got coming is much worse.
I don't know. It's what I think. If you're going to have a last meal, you've got to have a multitude of flavors and things. Just bits that you like. Yeah, I don't think you could eat all of the same meal. There has to be effectively like either a starter, main, and a dessert or whatever. There has to be a different. That'll be different, Alex, surely.
I think so.
Can't do the same thing.
No.
1. I'm going 1 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd agree with 1. I think 1's a pretty fair result.
Ooh. Yeah, you see, I'd go 4 because I'd rather eat that than a KFC and shrimps.
I love fried shrimp.
You see, the shrimps are decent. Yeah.
and I love fresh strawberries. So I
I do like strawberries.
See, I probably only gone about 4 or 5 for old killer clown Gacy.
Let's settle on a 2 then. Let's compromise. Go on a 2. Bring it up from your one.
We don't have to agree on these. I have to agree. So the next one, Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy, not to be confused with the avuncular fella in Married with Children.
I'm just another cheerful soul.
Another cheerful soul.
Did he kill a few? Did he?
I tell you what, this lad, variety was the spice of his life. I shouldn't make jokes like this. I do apologise. Yeah. So he was convicted of rape, necrophilia, prison escape, and 35 murders. So yeah, he mixed things up a little bit.
Yeah.
Naughty boy.
He was a naughty boy. Yeah. So for his last meal, what do you suppose he chose?
Steak.
Oh, wrong one. Got excited there. I got very excited. Yeah, I wasn't planning on digging those out, but actually, you're wrong because he didn't choose steak. But he did have steak. He chose not to have a last meal, and there is a standard last meal which is delivered to people who refuse a last meal. So they then bring them a medium rare steak, over easy eggs, hash browns, toast with butter and jam, and I believe coffee, which is the traditional last meal that they bring you, which I think he also refused to eat as well. So yeah,
that's quite good. That's quite good. That.
I
mean, what we voted, nothing or the steak.
Well, it's open for debate because in terms of what he ate, or he didn't eat anything, but what was delivered. Let's rate that first, and then have a look at his choice of nothing afterwards.
You see, the food that was delivered, I would say that was okay, because actually I think I quite like steak, so I think steak would probably feature somewhere in my last meal if I was going to have a meal. So I quite like the steak, so I'd be giving that maybe I think I'd want to start in there, so I think maybe a 6, something like that.
So don't forget the steak's medium rare. Does that fit in your steak category?
Medium rare. That's good. Yeah, don't mind that. It's weird because when growing up, when you used to eat steak, you first go out and you have steak and you eat it the same as your parents, basically. So it's like if they have well done, you have well done. If they have rare, you have rare, sort of thing. And my mum always used to like it really, really well done. So she'd be like, "Oh, cremate it, like burn it." I was like, "Okay, well, I'll have it well done." And then over the years, as you get a bit older and you start to sample a bit more, it's like, "Oh my God, you've ruined that steak. You can't have it well done." So then you end up moving more towards the medium and then the medium rare, and that's so yeah.
Well, here's my question. What were Ted Bundy's parents up to if he was into necrophilia?
Who knows?
Yeah.
When we ran our honeymoon, and it wasn't necrophilia.
Oh, well, thank God.
I wonder where you were going then, Dave.
We were eating in this nice restaurant in Canada, I can't remember where, Toronto or Ottawa or somewhere, I don't know where.
Memorable then.
Yeah.
Where's the French bit?
Quebec.
France.
Hey. Anyway, so we're in there and we said we have a steak, and me and Catherine, none of us particularly like rare steak, and it came pretty much blue, and we said, "No, can you go and cook it a bit more?" Came back, "No, can you go cook it a bit more?" Third time he came out with like the little flambe trolley or whatever it was called, sparked it up in front of us and cooked it until we were happy to eat it.
Wow.
Have you ever
you just know for a fact that the chef just like fucking he's proper gat cursing because you go to
Soutelo, les Anglais.
It was very nice though. It's the nicest steak I'd had, both of us at that point. So it probably wasn't cremated, but it was probably from medium to well done, somewhere around there, I guess.
But you do go to some places and almost you get chefs that will refuse to cook a steak almost beyond medium, so you'll get like medium rare, and then you'll get rare, and then effectively you get blue and so on and so on, and then you'll get it like basically still mooing type thing. It's pretty much still at heartbeat. But then there's so many places you go to and they will not cook it beyond medium because they just like, nah, I'm not doing it. So I think for me, I think a steak would definitely feature in my probably in my last meal. If I was to have, it'd probably be the main course.
But we'll get to that a bit later. So steak tartare, have you ever tried that one? Is it tartare or tartare? I can't remember.
Tartare.
Was that minced? Or was that beef Wellington?
It's raw. It's raw steak. Have you ever tried that?
No.
I have.
So, really?
Yeah.
Was that during a vegetarian?
No, funny enough, it wasn't. No, it was it was a bit stupid, really, because bear in mind I can't digest red meat, so it didn't end well. But I did enjoy the taste of it. Yeah, it was a pleasant meal.
So was it quite a while ago then? Because obviously, I mean, how long have you known that actually sort of red meat doesn't really agree with you?
Oh, so I would say, when did I get married? 2014, I think it was. Oh yeah, that's when I stopped.
The first time or the second time?
The second time I'm vegetarian. No, 2014, not 2005, for that brief 4-week period.
So what was it about Kim that triggered this inability to eat meat then?
What is it that affected diabolically my digestive system? You're asking. I don't know. I've got to be very careful. Like, she does listen to this back from time to time. I will steer her away from this episode. Right. Let's move on now. Okay, so we've ranked that one. How did you rank it? Sorry, Dave. Did you give it a ranking?
I didn't, but I would go with Gaz. I'd go with a 6. It's definitely more than the other two.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that then. Right then, the next one. You sussed out my plan very early doors now. People who ate a last meal and they didn't know they were eating a last meal. So who ate the most famous last meal of all?
The big JC.
Exactly, the big JC. Jesus' last meal, the Last Supper. Do you know what was served at the Last Supper?
Okay, so
fish, bread, and wine.
Yeah,
that was another story. Sorry, another occasion.
It's got to be. It has to be there, surely.
Well, I'll tell you. It was bean stew, lamb, olives in bitter herbs, fish sauce. No mention of fish, but it was fish sauce, so I don't know what to make of that. Unleavened bread, dates, and aromatized wine. So you weren't a million miles away, in all fairness, with bread, fish, and wine. They were there in some form, but lamb being the main meal that was served. How are we ranking that? Bearing in mind, he didn't know it was going to be his last meal, but I haven't seen Da Vinci's painting of it. It's looked a bit grandiose, so I think we've got to say, I mean, I'd like to think it wasn't his average snack that he had just before bed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he doesn't invite like how full of was it however many, him and his 12 mates or whatever it was, and various other people. You
think his dad would have given him that sort of heads up, wouldn't you?
Well, let's not go down that route, shall we? Let's not go down there. Let's just judge him on his foods, not on his
political beliefs.
His questionable parenting that occurred around that time.
I'm not a big fish fan. I don't like lamb. I'm not a big fan of olives. I like wine. So I would kind of stick that down at a 4. Doesn't sound very nice to me.
Yeah, the fish sauce, I'm not a huge. I don't mind the piece of fish every now and then, but fish sauce is not great. Yeah, I'm with Dave. I think it's definitely below par. That is, so yeah, that'll be a pretty solid 4. It's probably better than the bowl of ice cream. So yeah, probably 4 for me. Yeah, I agree with Dave there.
Yeah, as much as yourself. See, I love like crustaceans. You know what I mean? So I love shellfish, but I do not enjoy fish at all. And I still put it down to my mum, as anybody knows, I may have told the story before, is a bit of a werity. And whenever we had like fish when we were children, just be careful of bones. Is there any bones in that? Check your fish for bones. There might be bones. Did you know the Queen Mother choked on fish? That's what happened. She had a fish bone stuck in her throat and she choked on it. Oh, what are you serving this to me for? You know what I mean? Christ, I didn't enjoy it before. I'm not enjoying it now. I know it could cause my untimely death. So yeah, I'm not a fan of fish, and I do believe it. It's that fear of fish bones that's been drilled inside me. Whereas the good thing about shellfish is obviously they've got exoskeletons, so they've been peeled away.
Yeah, they're all in it for themselves, aren't
Yeah.
Go on,
And you got to give it.
Go on, you can have one.
Go on. Here we go.
I mean, I say I'm not a big fan of fish, but if it comes from the chip shop with batter and curry sauce, then it's all right, isn't it?
Tickle somebody with batter.
Batter. Yeah, down there. Well, the good thing about our Chippy as well, that's his surname, isn't it? Batter. Chippy Batter, that's his nickname. Genuinely is his surname. Batter.
He genuinely is his name.
Yeah, destined to service our fish.
I'm not so sure that. So how can you like chip shop fish, which is effectively cod? Although it might not be well. Ooh, or haddock, yeah, in batter. But then you say you don't like fish.
I was not a big fan of fish. I mean, the rest of the family, they eat fish. They eat sushi and all sorts of muck.
Yeah, I'm okay with sushi. Okay with sushi.
Yeah, sushi's nice. I don't mind that.
But if I go to the Chippy, I like my sausage battered. Moving on. Eileen Warnos. Has anybody heard of her?
I have heard of Eileen Warnos, yes.
Not me.
Have you?
She was an Australian serial killer who was at some point in the sex trade and preyed on men, and was played by Charlize Theron in a Hollywood movie.
The film? For a dingaling?
We've got, sorry?
I'll press the button if you tell me what the film is.
The film?
Yeah.
Was it called Monster?
Yeah, well done, dude. That's some solid knowledge.
Have you seen it, by the way? Have you watched the film?
Impressive.
I haven't, no. Well, you have been to Australia. Did you come across this woman?
Is there Ollie? Go on, Dave Average. If you haven't seen the film, it's worth watching. Honestly, Charlize Theron is potentially, some will say, one of the most attractive-looking women in Hollywood. So I think when you see her in that film, oh my days, they've really done a glam down. It's like, oh, Jesus. But yeah, the film is really good. It really, isn't it? Is it Christina Ricci in it or something like that?
I've not seen it.
There was a whether or not it's the same in real life or not, but I'm sure it's Christina Ricci. Might not be, but she played basically a bit like a younger girl that Eileen Warnos took under her wing, and this, that, and the other. But yeah, the film's worth watching. Honestly, dude, it's decent.
I might give that a go. Stick it on Christmas Eve when Grandma's round. Gaz recommends this. It's about Australian hookers.
Australian hookers that kill men. Happy days.
Yeah. Did you know how many people she did? Do you know how many people she killed?
Seven.
No, it's me. No.
Where was this form last week when we were doing the quiz? Yeah, 7. She killed 7 men.
I did win the quiz last week.
I thought it was a bit more than that. Yeah, I did win it. Little listeners are getting all defensive. I didn't win it last week.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, actually, when I listened to it back, I edited that back the other night, and I thought, actually, he did all right, actually. It's about the only quiz he's ever done all right in. But fair play. Yeah, there's no prize at stake either. Just pride.
Was it 7? I thought it was more than that.
She probably attempted more, but she's confirmed to have killed 7 people. So in the film, man, does it show her trip to the gas chamber or whatever they did to her? I'm presuming it might have been lethal injection. And does it show what she requested for her last meal?
I don't remember. It could have done. I don't remember exactly, but I've heard of her and read about her and seen the film, but I don't remember her last meal.
Fair play, dude. I've got to respect that, because when I was putting these together, this is one I'd never heard of. Never ever heard of it.
Okay.
I've heard of the film. I'm familiar with Charlize Theron, but I knew she starred in it. I had no idea what it was about. So that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
So her final meal, she was another one like our friend Mr. McVeigh, who only requested one type of food. It wasn't even food, actually. It was a beverage. She requested a cup of coffee.
Really?
A single cup.
single cup of coffee. Now, did she have it no milk, no sugar, Dave? I don't know. Or did she have it milk, 2 sugars? 1 sugar.
1 sugar.
Close enough. Your brother has 2.
I'm going to go. I mean, if it's 1 cup of coffee, that's fucking pants, isn't it? That's like not even a meal. That's like a 1 sort of thing. It's not even a 1. It's not even a 1. It's a 0, isn't it? Surely.
Did you know how she had it? The coffee.
I don't know how she had it.
Right.
I'm presuming orally.
Hot.
Hot. Yeah. Go on, guys. You can have one for that.
It's got to be a 3.5 because it's got to be anything's got to go above KFC basically.
Well, you say that. I actually think a coffee is a fairly decent choice. If I'm going there, do you know, I'm not angry about that at all. I do love a really good. Yeah, I'm okay with a cup of coffee sometimes.
But this episode is called Last Meal, not Last Beverage.
Well, that's true. I suppose she didn't really stick to the real theme of things. But that's not the worst thing she did. But I'm okay with that. Sometimes I'll just have a cup of coffee for breakfast, and I'm not angry about that.
Yeah, I like the coffee. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, it's a last.
I don't mind. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind coffee. And coffee's great if you're rounding off the meal and you've had, and all of that, and you have your little sort of nice little bits of chocolate and stuff, and with coffee at the end and all of that. I don't mind that, but no.
Any chance of an after 8?
One more wafer.
Sorry, not for you. It'd be after 7. I'm here all week. Someone take this button away from me.
Oh God, I was going to say, have you got any more buttons on there? Don't answer that.
Yeah, plenty. Yeah, so we're not impressed with that then one, no.
I'm not impressed with that, no. Not having that.
Dave, not impressed you much, no?
No. So, as I say, just above a KFC.
Okay, right. Let's see this next guy then. Let's see if you've heard of him. John Martin Scripps. He's an English fellow. He's an English serial killer.
From the 1700s.
No.
Recent then.
More recent than the 1700s.
I haven't heard of him, I must admit. And any little clue as to what he's done or where he was from, or?
He was known as the tourist from hell because he killed 6 people in Singapore, Thailand, Mexico, and the US of A. Now, yeah, so again, he was a man who liked variety, so he didn't just order the one thing. He ordered 2 things, okay? Now, I don't know what type of pizza it was, but he ordered pizza. And what goes well with pizza?
Definitely not pineapple.
I'm not talking about the toppings. I don't know what was on the toppings, but he made a terrible error if he didn't get pineapple on his pizza.
Potato wedges. That's what we always have with pizza.
I'll give you a clue. It's a drink. What beverage goes well with pizza?
Pina colada.
Well, if you like pina colada.
Yeah. Oh, there's a song in there somewhere.
There is a song in there. But, I have got auto-tune on this thing, but I think even that is not going to work on my bloody awful voice. Yeah, no, so he ordered a hot chocolate with pizza. I mean, that is up there with some of the crimes he committed. That's disgusting.
I'm not being funny. If he's got pineapple on his pizza and he ordered pizza and hot chocolate, that's horrendous.
I think he's trying to prove he was insane. It was a last-minute plea for insanity. Pizza and hot chocolate? The hell was he thinking?
I don't mind pizza.
No,
I don't mind
pizza.
hot chocolate.
I don't mind hot chocolate. Put together, nah, the twain shall meet.
No. It's a bit like garlic and bread, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's like...
I'm okay with garlic bread. I quite like garlic bread. Well, I wouldn't have it with a hot chocolate.
Dip it in.
Maybe just wanted some music with this pizza.
Yeah.
Go on.
Thanks, Errol.
This is the last one of these I'm dishing out. Okay, we're stopping this now. It's getting quite annoying. Yeah. Pizza, yeah, all right. Like I say, I wasn't angry about their choice for coffee. So if he just wants to have himself a nice hot chocolate, marshmallows, cream on top, obviously, maybe a little bit of a beverage inside, a bit of brandy, nothing wrong with that. But to put the two together, that's insanity.
if you can have pizza, you can have you want like a nice little beer or something to go with it or something. You know what I mean?
See, this is what I was getting at. What goes well? I wanted to say beer because that's the obvious choice when you're having pizza for me. Yeah, but hot chocolate instead of beer? No, come on.
Right, are we rating this in terms of individual or as a collective? Because if it's a collective, it's a 4 or a 5. It's a little bit better than a bowl of ice cream and a little bit better than whatever the first one was with shrimp and this, that, and the other. So,
is it better than ice cream though? Because here's the thing about the ice cream: you can enjoy it. It's not being. If you have a bowl of ice cream, it's nice, it's enjoyable. You have that with something that doesn't go particularly well with, it's gonna impede on the flavour of the ice cream.
But he obviously enjoys that. So he obviously enjoys those two things. So he's wanted those things. I don't know.
I think
pizza I haven't got a problem with.
No,
I haven't got a problem with.
No. It's got to have a low score, I'm afraid. You can't put the two together. It's just disgusting.
No, it's disgusting, isn't it? It's very questionable. Shame on you.
4.
4. And what did you say, Gaza?
I'd have gone middle of the road. I'd have got maybe a 5-ish. So I'm happy to go 4. It's not great, is it, together?
No, I don't think so. Right, this fella, next one. He's the subject of a song, a punk song from the 70s, Gary Gilmore. You familiar with him and what he did?
Gary Gilmore. Is that not Gary Glitter? Is that the same person?
No, Gary Glitter. I tell you what, folks, when he has his last meal, we'll do an episode on that. Don't you worry. We'll do an whole episode on Gary Glitter and our disdain for that individual. But no, Gary Gilmore was a song. I forget who sang it, but Gary Gilmore's Eyes is the name of the song. And it's a punk song.
Did you not know who sings it?
Not off the top of my head now. And I've stuck my phone on airplane mode for the next episode.
Oh, okay.
That sounds interesting.
Oh, for a minute.
Yeah. So you have a look there. But Gary Gilmore, he robbed and murdered 2 people in Utah. Okay. So he robbed them, I think, at a gas station and then dragged their bodies elsewhere. So obviously it was a heinous crime which saw him go to death in Utah, which obviously is famous for the Mormons there. I think he was passing through. I don't think for a second he was a Mormon. I don't want to tarnish that religion with his name. So anyway, if you're not familiar with Gary Gilmore, Gaz is Googling who sang the song.
So group by the name of The Advert, and it does talk about people. Interestingly enough. So I've just all the lyrics up here. And as I catch the evening news, a murderer's being killed, and he donates his sight to science. I'm locked into the private ward. I realise that I must be looking through Gary Gilmore's eyes.
That's the one. Well, right, here's last meal, and let's rate this one. 1 hamburger, hard-boiled eggs, plural, several cups of coffee, and 3 shots of Jack Daniels.
Well, you see, I'm not a massive whiskey fan, so that wouldn't float my boat. I don't mind the burger. And actually, I was sort of thinking if it got to mind, it would have burger, but there's other things I think I like more than the burger. So, but yeah, the Jackie D's wasn't not great for me.
Well, the thing we have to add about Jack Daniels here, and I haven't delved down deep enough into it to actually get an answer. I tried, but I couldn't find one. It's contraband at the time. So whether in the state of Utah it was a dry county at the time, where whichever prison he was held in, I don't know, or the prison itself. Obviously, you're not allowed to take whiskey inside, so it would be contraband in the prison.
Right.
So, I don't know, but ultimately it's something he shouldn't have necessarily been having or have the opportunity to have. So I can respect that decision. As a man who enjoys whiskey, especially from the home of Tennessee, I do enjoy a little bit of Jack Daniels from time to time.
Yeah, see, I like eggs. I like coffee. Hamburger, I mean, it depends, doesn't it? I mean, if it was just like from McDonald's or something, then clearly not. But if it was a proper homemade burger with some salad and some relish and something on some fresh bread, that's pretty appealing.
It is.
I don't mind every now and then you go out and you're like, oh, I really fancy like a dirty burger, and you've got like, nice big thick patty, and then as I say, you've got some, whether you've got some sort of like cheese and sauce on there, or some spicy stuff. You get your jalapeno on there, a nice bit of blue cheese on there, or some bit of onions. You know what I mean? That's like, yeah, I could eat that. Do you know what I mean?
I had a burger in Red's True Burger in Manchester, and it was a double burger with cheese in between, and it was served in between 2 sweet donuts. Okay. And it was, I tell you what, it was phenomenal. It was 2,000 calories though for the burger. It was pretty severe. And if Andy was here, he'd tell you the comical story of how I got very severe hiccups for the rest of the night and tried to drink as much whiskey as I had to get rid of it and made myself quite poor.
So donut, burger, cheeseburger, donut.
Dude, yeah, I'm salivating thinking about it. It was absolutely epic.
Was it not too sweet? Did the donut not make it like really sweet?
No, because I don't know about you, but I like that sort of umami taste with something sweet. I just think the two flavors, it's like putting pineapple on a pizza. Compliments.
I wouldn't want to go for the dirty burger though. I think just a nice patty with decent meat with some nice spices and then a light bread and some salad. Mm-hmm. I don't want heavy and greasy as I'm about to die. If I'd wanted that, I'd have gone for the KFC.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to worry about the following day, do you? And, like, you know, or anything like that. You know what I mean?
No, that's it. Well, worry about my breath tomorrow morning with these eggs.
Oh God, if I burp in the morning.
On the bet, I'm gonna assume that that's a decent burger, like I would like, and then I would rate that. I'm not a big Jack Daniel's fan either, or whiskey, but the rest of it would have actually the coffee, the eggs, the hamburger. That would put that at the highest one for me so far.
Yeah, I think a 6, maybe something like a 6 or a 7. I think that'd be okay. I'm not a massive. I think if you'd have substituted the whiskey for maybe a couple of nice ice cold beers or a red wine, but then again, red wine and burger, you don't really have red wine and burger. If you're gonna have like a nice pasta dish, you'd have some wine. So you'd have red wine or white wine with pasta. If you're gonna have burger, you want like a nice cold beer. You want a couple of nice cold beers. You know what I mean? So yeah,
I'm with you on that one. That said, though, if I've had a very heavy meal and I'm feeling full and I've got a little, not necessarily indigestion, but you know when you just feel congested because you've eaten too much food, I find about half a bottle of Jack Daniels afterwards really helps to cleanse through the system. In all seriousness, I am one of those people who will advocate alcohol for medicine. And in terms of that, I will say, if you're feeling a little bit congested, so, you know, just have a think about that tomorrow at work. Feeling a bit congested, just mention to your boss, I heard on this podcast, Jack Daniels will sort me right out.
But you also
said
last week, a can of out-of-date solo would sort you right out. You said last week.
I said it would expunge your system. I didn't say it would sort you out. Two very different things. It was a bowel cleansing moment.
Well, if you're a bit congested, it sounds like it's helpful.
Yeah, but you've got to wait a time with the whiskey. It works almost instantly. If you sit there and you're like, I'll get myself sort of a triple, Christ almighty, a triple or a treble measure. Just, you know, you'll bloody enjoy it. I tell you, I promise you that. I promise you that is an absolute belter, and it will sort you right out. Better than out-of-date non-alcoholic lager any day.
Okay, take your word for it.
So he's winning. Gary Gilmore's top of the pops with this one.
Yeah.
So the next one then, Peter Curtin.
Don't know him. I don't think.
I don't know him.
Maybe you'll know him by his moniker, the Vampire of Dusseldorf.
Okay. No.
Well, obviously, he was a German serial killer. And let me tell you what he ordered, okay? And I think this gentleman's about to earn your respect a little bit. So he ordered Wiener Schnitzel. Yeah.
Okay.
Some fried potatoes and a bottle of white wine. And when he had eaten that and consumed his bottle of wine, he said, "Any chance of some seconds?" And bless them, they served them to him.
Oh, you got to respect that, haven't you?
You have to respect that. 2 bottles of wine.
To be fair, so he ordered what was Schnitzel and what was the other thing he ordered?
Wiener Schnitzel, fried potatoes, which we know go together wonderfully well. I love a Wiener Schnitzel.
Yeah, but would you not do? But would you not drink red and not white?
Well, I see where you're coming from, but no, I wouldn't. I think that deserves a white wine.
Do you?
I do.
No, the white wines. I'm not a big white wine fan. I can have a glass.
If you turn around and said like, you've got like a like I don't know, like a I'm trying to think what go with that, like a. I know it's a different country and stuff, but you have like a Rioja or something like that. Like you have a like quite hearty red. Is that, or you have like you see, for me, you'd have like an Argentinian Malbec or something like that, like a real hearty. Because I'm a bit of a rough red as opposed to smooth red sort of thing. So
yeah, if I'm having a red, I'm on board with that.
Yeah, well, I want loads of tannins and loads of the, so yeah. I'm a bit of a rough red. So we have like a nice, I think a red would go with that meal better. But fair play to him to say, I finished that, so hey, bring it on, come on.
Well, I'm guessing with him being German, he might have ordered like a Hock or a Liebfraumilch. Do you think?
A Liebfraumilch, wow.
Yeah, you haven't seen that one. When was the last time you had a glass of Liebfraumilch?
Like 1986.
Yeah. Just out of interest as well.
When I was 13.
Yeah, so Liebfraumilch.
Just after I'd drank my bottle of White Lightning or Thunderbird or whatever.
That's it. But you speak a little bit of German. Break that word down for us then, Gaza. Liebfraumilch.
Lieb.
Yes.
Frau.
Yes.
Milk.
I was looking for a translation. not to identify the different syllables.
Say it a bit slower.
Frau must be. So Frau is sort of female, her.
Yeah, lady.
Something her. Milk.
Yeah, milk.
Drink.
So
drink.
Yeah, and Lieb is. Did you say Lieb?
Yeah.
I don't know what Lieb is.
Lieb is love. So ladies love milk. Would you like a glass of ladies love milk? I don't know if that's the exact translation, but you break those three words down, and it's love, lady, milk.
Love ladies milk.
Yeah,
beautiful.
So, that's Liebfraumilch. That's an advertising slogan.
No wonder I liked it so much.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. So how do we rate this individual then? How's he done on the scale? And I think the dude's done well.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind. There's a little bit of variety in taste. He hasn't just gone for the main meal. He's gone for a couple of accompaniments with it, and he's had a nice beverage with it. I don't mind that. I'm not sure I'd put it at 7 or an 8. I think I'd put it maybe at a 6, just above, on a par with a couple of the others. But yeah, 6 or 7 maybe.
Yeah,
we haven't hit the higher echelons yet, though, have we? So
would you prefer that one to the one before with the Jack Daniels and the eggs?
Well, ABV wise, there's more booze in this one, which has got me on board.
I would probably put this one at the top. I'm not a big fan of white wine, but I prefer it to Jack Daniels, and this is probably my top. Just
well, I guess then that makes me the only white wine drinker out of the three of us, because I prefer a white to a red.
Do you? Honestly, do you?
I do, yeah, I do. I can't remember the last time I had a glass of. Oh, I can actually. My birthday, my brother bought me a bottle of red.
I don't mind white wine.
Just can't drink it the same.
In a way, it depends. What you should look at is obviously what you're eating. So certain foods will go with whites, certain foods will go with reds, and you should have a wine that accompanies your food. Or I think, given the choice of either, I would probably go red more than white. I'll be honest with you.
I used to love a Pinotage or a Pinot Noir. Those were my go-to red wines, and I still enjoy a glass of them now. Don't get me wrong, but I would choose white over red probably 99 times out of 100. I just really enjoy a refreshing, cold, chilled glass of white wine. So right then, moving on then.
How many got left, Ad?
We've got 3 left, so we've timed it nicely. Victor Fuger. That made him sound very European. He's actually American.
Is he another serial killer?
He was a murderer, and he was the last person who was put to death in Iowa.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's another one who just ordered one variety of food. And I've got a feeling we might be hitting on the low points here. So he ordered a single olive on a plate.
Really?
Mm.
You're trying to make some kind of point?
Oh,
Yes, he was, Dave. He was trying to make a point.
and for a bonus point, what was the point?
Yeah,
He's probably going to choke himself on an olive.
No, he wasn't. No, but so he requested something very specific about this olive. What could that be?
De-stoned or stone left in?
Oh, Dave, you're on fire! Yeah, he insisted on having the stone left in the olive, which is absolutely criminal. Why? Many a time I've put an olive in my mouth, really looking forward to it, to bite down into the bloody stone. I like it to be removed. I don't think that's too much to ask for. And if you've got a little bit more time, well, those lovely little pimento peppers popped inside it as well. I don't think that's not an unreasonable request. So if I'm at your house over Christmas and you serve me one of those, I know you haven't listened to this episode.
You see, I'll be honest, I'm not a massive olive fan, and
love them.
The missus keeps saying, "Oh, they're an acquired taste," and after a few times of eating them, you'll get used to them, and then you'll like it. It's like, nah, not for me. Literally every time I've tried them, like, really don't like them.
You don't like olives either?
No, the rest of the family eat them out of the jar. When it comes to pineapple, it's like, you have them. Not pineapple, pizza, you have them.
Or pineapple on a pizza, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, I like pineapple on a pizza, but not olives.
No, see, I can eat pizza with olives on a can, and I don't mind it, but I just love them in a little bit of oil, maybe a little bit of like chili on them, a little bit of lemon.
Chili oil. What you would do is normally you do like chili oil or maybe a bit of garlic, and then you have like a bit of crusty bread, or you get like a baguette or something you dip in, and then that's sort of.
Yeah, definitely.
Not for me then.
Not for me. I love it. So yeah, anyway, so this fella, he requested an unusual request to insist on having that stone or that pip. Let's not get involved in that, embroiled in that argument again, whether it's a fruit or not. It is. Okay. So he insisted, on having that inside. Why do you think that was? It was for a very specific reason. And it wasn't to choke to death. It was in some ways of making apologies for his crimes.
Heartless, heartstone, heart of something. Don't know.
Did he just kill pregnant women or something?
Oh, steady on now, Dave. Fucking hell. I know it's getting to the tail end of the episode, but we are nearly at Christmas.
You've got to keep it light.
I mean, yes, we kept it light early on with necrophilia. No, so his idea was he wanted to eat this olive with the stone inside it. So it was sit inside his stomach. The next day he was executed and he would be buried with this olive pip or seed inside his stomach. And as he decomposted inside of his grave, the olive tree would grow out as a sign of peace.
Did that happen?
What he thought?
I don't think so. No, I think that I'd like to think that would have been on his Wikipedia page if it actually happened.
Add it.
Well, yeah, I have actually altered a Wikipedia page before, but that's another story. It's one for another day, maybe. More for time at the end. But no, the idea I would suggest. First of all, is it possible?
No. The acids in your stomach, wouldn't they?
They wouldn't allow anything.
Would they? But think about how olives. How do they get replicated in nature? How do plants get replicated in nature?
Yeah, birds poo it out, don't they?
Exactly. So no, they will not. They are indigestible. You will not digest them. The acid, they will fend the acid away if that's a real thing, which it isn't. But they are resistant to it.
So it'd just be lack of light that would stop it growing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it would. But when you think about it, if that pip is buried underground, it takes the nutrients to grow, and then it's the leaves which then absorb the light. Don't get me wrong; it's got 6 foot of ground to fight its way through. So in all likelihood, it is probably not going to happen. That might be an explanation as to why it doesn't. But the idea behind it is kind of feasible. Were he in a shallow grave? But obviously, that ain't the way it works. So it was unsuccessful. I don't know. I don't know about whether he was trying to make a point there about his sanity. It's an unusual decision to make. But nonetheless, how are we ranking his last meal?
Not great for me.
No.
Just above
a KFC.
Just above a KFC. Yeah, I'm going like way below a KFC. I'd much rather have a KFC than one olive.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you.
And if tomorrow you're stuck outside the KFC at the window, it's probably Dave just saying, "Single olive, please."
I don't like olives.
Yeah, it's better
You
than
don't
one
like
of your burgers.
KFC either, by the sounds of it.
It's better than your Zinger Tower. So yeah, so we're ranking it on pretty lowly. So we've got two last ones then to pass through. Now the next one is another one. It's another meal where the individual didn't know it was going to be his last meal, and it's someone I'm a big fan of. So John Lennon. What's the last thing that John Lennon ate? Do you know? And his reasoning behind it.
He ate
A sandwich.
It was bloody hell, Dave. He's on fire, the man is. Yeah, it's a corned beef sandwich because he said he was going to get something more holy and filling when he got back home to his apartment in the Dakota building in New York. And obviously that never quite happened because he was stopped outside the door and shot by that fella. What's his name? Mark, someone or other. Oh, I forgot his name.
Oh, dude.
I know. Yeah. Anyway, let's not give that guy any airtime. So yeah, so his last meal was a corned beef sandwich. He didn't select that. He was going home to have something else. So how would we rank that one?
Well,
It's slightly better than an olive.
I like a corned beef sandwich,
Can't abide corned beef.
especially if it's got a bit of cucumber, a bit of lettuce. I quite like it. That'd be quite high for me. That's a good five.
I wouldn't just have that though. I wouldn't just have a corned beef. I'd have a couple of other things, but
well, the thing is that he never knew, so he wasn't selecting it as he says. So we got to judge him less harshly than we judge some of the others.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah. I'm middle of the road, five or a 6, something like 5 maybe, middle of the road. There's worse things to eat than that, but
yeah, I go with that. I mean, there's 3, isn't there, that we kind of think they're all probably okay, and that's probably just behind those 3.
So yeah, we have. So the final one. Now,
Mark David Chapman.
Mark David Chapman, that's the one. Yeah, 100%. You're right there, dude. So the last one, the guy I've saved till last, is the one who may just win it. Okay. So General Custer. Yeah, are we familiar with that guy? The Battle of Little Bighorn and all that?
Yeah, I know
the guy who's overconfident in his attack on Native Americans and ended in his untimely perishing, although someone like myself with Native American blood would probably argue it wasn't necessarily untimely. So his last meal was roasted buffalo steaks, beans with molasses, roasted wild corn, and prairie ham.
See, that sounds like a hearty meal to me. That we're now more looking like potentially what I would order. But yeah, that's the best one so far. That is. I'd like to know what he ordered. I'd like to know what he ordered as a beverage and maybe potentially as a bit of a dessert or whatever. But yeah, that's a hearty sort of 8. That is for me. That's decent. That meal is.
Given that he rushed on a whole load of Indians, really clearly very outnumbered, I'm going to suggest he had something that had a bit of Dutch courage. He wasn't waiting for the other people to turn up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There's 10 of us, there's 1,000 of them. Let's go, we can do this.
Go on, I've had my buffalo steak. And my ladies love milk.
It's a bit meat heavy for me, to be honest.
Well, I tell you what, though, if you're going to have a meat heavy meal, that's the way to do it, isn't it? Actually,
yeah,
just those beans with molasses. Is honestly, my mouth's watering here thinking about his last meal. Bless him.
Yeah, that's the best one for me. That's 100%. That's the best one so far.
So what are we scoring him out of 10?
I'm going to give that an 8. I do love. I'm not quite Andy in terms of meat loving, but I do quite. Meat would figure in. Yeah, it's definitely my last meal. So yeah,
Andy would score that a 3. That's the starter for Andy. He'd score that a 3.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Dave,
I don't know. I think I'd probably have this one of the other 3 before that. I mean, I can see why you're going for an 8. Not a big fan of sweet corn, which doesn't help, but
love a sweet corn.
Yeah,
sweet corn.
If that one and those other 3, if you put those 4 in front of me, I probably wouldn't have a clear winner from them.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go. And the good thing about sweet corn is it's great. If you want to know just how long it takes for food to pass through your body, eat some corn. You'll find out. Trust me, kids. And what you listen to this for, kids. Right then. So what we said finally then we're going to finish on our last meals. Okay. So I've had a little bit of a think about this. So one of the things I thought maybe I love crispy shredded beef and a chili sauce with egg fried rice. Okay. And I'd probably order it from Chinese Gardens. Do you know why? Because it'd buy me at least an extra hour and a half because it take fucking ages to deliver.
They also do chicken and duck. Oh no, sorry. There you go.
Yeah. Oh dear. No, you're not having a
Oh, come on.
Go on, it's Christmas. So yeah, all seriousness, I have got an idea for what would be my last meal. Would you like me to go first, and you can pull
You
my
go
idea
first,
apart?
I think I know what mine would be as well. But yeah, you go first.
First of all, I'd like a beverage. For me, the drink. This is why I'm kind of on board with the coffee. Is that I think the beverage would be the start. So I'd start with a nice imperial stout to sit with while I was eating it, and I'll have plenty left after the food because I wouldn't order that much. I'd go simplistic, very, very simplistic. Nice white barm bread, it was slightly warmed but not toasted. Lashings of bacon in the middle, and a little bit of Stokes's ketchup in there. Yeah, and that would just about do me. And then a very large, healthy measure of bourbon just to finish off with. That would do me.
Really?
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm a man of very simple needs.
So bacon butty.
Bacon butty, yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you now, as a vegetarian, and any vegetarian out there who's ever been tempted back, I guarantee you, bacon butty.
Yeah, no, I like a bacon butty. Don't get me wrong, but it wouldn't be my last. I don't think it'd be my last meal. I don't think
it could be part of the last meal, couldn't it?
It might be part of the last meal, yeah.
So
I would have I'd probably have prawns to start with, or each shrimp. So I'd have probably like a chili and garlic. To have a chili and garlic in prawns and chili and garlic with perhaps a little bit of crusty bread, so you can just dip in and stuff. So I'd probably have that. Alternatively, I do quite like a nice portobello mushroom and stuff, but I'd probably go for the shrimp. Main meal, I do quite like Chinese food. However, I think I would go for quite a simplistic steak. So medium rare, a little bit of rocket dressing, peppercorn sauce, triple cup fries or chips, something like that. And then for dessert, I would probably go for. I really like my cheese boards, so I'd love a cheese board. And then what I would do is I'd have some vintage cheese, and then to accompany that, if I could, I'd have a beer with my main meal, and then to accompany the vintage cheese and biscuits, I would have a real hearty sort of glass of red or bottle of red to go with it. So that'd be perfect for me. Absolutely, yeah.
You did eat well. You did eat well on your last day. I'll say that, dude.
I'll be sick after eating all.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I don't care. So I'm not bothered.
That's it. Dave?
I'm going to follow Gaz, but backwards. So not as in I'd eat in a different order, but I would end with the cheese board and a good solid red wine, definitely. I may even go after that with a cup of coffee as a final. This is me gone. I'll have this coffee and go. But definitely go with the cheese and the red wine. Definitely a beer, but I'd probably go for a spicy curry, probably a chicken, quite spicy curry with rice. I'd probably have to have some decent chips to go with it. But yeah, I think a curry with rice. But definitely the cheese board and the red wine.
The cheese board and the red wine, just the steak, and then you have a beer with the steak, and then you bring a nice cheese board, really nice vintage cheese, quite powerful, and then just that glass of like a nice hearty glass of red to go with. And then, as you say, Dave, maybe once that's done, maybe finish with like a nice coffee. You might have like an espresso or something like that, just to, that'd definitely 100%. That'd be me, yeah.
Cool. Interesting. Now, here's the interesting thing now. Here's a last meal. Do we think after that, after you've been satiated in such a way, you'd be happy to go to your grave?
I don't need to ever be happy.
You know what I mean.
If I ate that, I mean, if someone said to me that was your last meal, I would be content with that. I would be contented to eat that meal.
Yeah, I think you definitely. It's hard to put yourself in that situation, obviously. But I think I would rather have that than just go, I'll have an olive or a bowl of ice cream. I would take advantage and say, yeah, let's just have something. Why the hell not?
That's fair enough. Well, I'll tell you the one person who wins it for me, Victor Fugo and his olive, because he ordered that olive from ollies-olives.com and he used the promo code Talkboy Radio, all one word, all capitals. And he was based in the UK at the time when that order was placed. And along with those olives, you could also get nuts, pretzels, and chocolate-covered pretzels.
So the serial killer ordered from your sponsors?
Not necessarily. A bit of fun there, fella. It's Christmas, you know what I mean?
Yeah, a bit of creative license there, but
that's it, a little bit of dishonesty, but nonetheless, he had a little flavour of humour to the end. Now, so who wins it? And you would take your meal over any of those other meals that you've had there.
Oh, 100%,
even old General Custer.
Yeah, I'd take my meal. Yeah,
obviously he would. Otherwise, he'd have just repeated what General Custer had, wouldn't he?
Exactly. Yeah,
it's a valid point. It's a very valid point. Well, I was hoping for a point of discussion. So yeah, I'm on board with those. So folks, this has been a little bit of an unusual episode. You know, it started off sounding like it wasn't going to be upbeat or light-hearted, but I'd like to think it was
because we started with John Wayne Gacy or whatever it was.
Started with John Wayne Gacy and then moved on to other people of questionable natures and intent. But nonetheless, I think it was a little bit of fun and a little bit light-hearted. And no, we're not making light of these people because they did do some horrible, horrible things. And we're not making light for the victims and the families of their victims. We're keeping those in our hearts and our thoughts. We really, really are when we're being a little bit flippant with our remarks. But what we're actually doing is looking at the food. This is an episode about food and actually something that is a little bit unusual, a meal that's going to be the last thing you ever eat. So when you order your food over Christmas, keep that in mind. You never know when it's going to happen. Fucking hell, I've gone down a route I didn't intend to. But you never know when your last meal is going to be. Enjoy it. Enjoy life. That's what I'm trying to say.
Your Christmas meal, sitting across from your dear old granny and grandfather. Just think on it. It might be their last meal.
Especially if it's been cooked in Dave's kitchen, which may or may not be ready and properly installed. All seriousness. I'm trying to make a serious point. He went south very quickly. But no, we have made light of a few things here. We're not making light of the crimes that they perpetrated.
No, absolutely not. No,
we're just looking at the meals that they ate before they died.
And don't put them all in the same bracket because you did have Jesus Christ and John Lennon in that list.
Yeah, we did look eerily similar in many ways. But yeah, no, we aren't. No, we aren't putting them in that same bracket. No achievement. Let's just close it up and move on and hope nobody listens. Gaz.
Look, whether you can sort of laugh as much and I'm just trying to make a serious point. The people that we've spoken about in this episode, the crimes they committed in no way were acceptable, and we don't wish to belittle any of anything that they've ever done, and we don't wish to glorify it. So we had a little bit light-hearted look at the meals that they ordered and what we have eaten that meal and how we rank that meal. So I'll try and say relatively sensibly what Ad was trying to say really, really poorly 2 minutes ago. But in a strange way, I've really enjoyed this episode. It has been a little bit light-hearted look at sort of food and different people's different perceptions of food and what they would want. So look forward to next time, and Gaz out.
Nice one, dude. I think that summed it up a little bit better than I did. Abe?
Yeah, not a lot to add to that. It's good laugh in it, talking about these things. So yeah, don't take it too serious, folks, and treasure every moment you've got with your family over Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho. Yeah, absolutely. And listen, guys, enjoy Christmas. We've got a bit of a treat for you next time around. We're going to do an episode where we look back on everything that we've done in 2022, look forward to 2023, and just have a look at some of our favorite clips from that time. We're going to share some of those with you. Yes, it's going to be a TBR clip show. So on that, I will wish you a fond farewell and don't have nightmares.